real quick, before you blow another paycheck, listen up, family. All right. If you get a pension check, retirement check, payout, or a lump sum, or any type of kind like inheritance, don't just spend it. You need to position it. Today, I'm giving you guys practical steps to turn that check into an asset that can pay you back consistently. All right, so for a lot of you guys, a retirement check it's not just about money you spend, okay? It's money that needs a mission. You gotta know where to put it at. All right, so before you buy a car or take a trip or start handing money out to your family and your friends, because that's what all of y'all do when a lot of y'all stay broke, especially the NFL players. That's what they do all the time. That's how you know they're making these millions. They still end up going broke within the next 5 years. You guys actually got to know and have a mission for your money. Know where you're going to actually put it at. Okay, so this will do a little recap, guys. I'm Tori Sales with Sales that's investing, and that's what we do here. We show you guys how to position your money, where it's going to actually keep growing for you, all right, over a period of time, right? Get the cash flow and not just kind of wasting it and dumping it in liabilities, all right? Actually know you how to put your money where it's going to actually work for you. Okay, we're big on family, faith, and your finances, all right? Because you need all three of those things to make sure you get your fulfillment the way you want it to be in life. And that's what we're all about. That's what we focus on. So first thing I want to talk about how you can flip your retirement check into an asset. All right. So the first step you need to do is make sure you build your foundation, protect your foundation. All right. Before investing in anything, you need to separate your money into different buckets. All right. First, make sure you got your emergency money. Okay. Then you want to pay attention to your high interest debt. So you will make sure that high interest debt get paid off next. Then you will make sure that your taxes and your penalties and fees are squared away. Okay, that's your foundation. You gotta make sure all that stuff is squared away, right? Don't move retirement money blindly. Talk to a tax professional or financial advisor first, right? Because the goal is not to look rich within 6 months because you got all this money to blow. You know, some of you guys inherited thousands of dollars and you're ready to go blow it all or take the family all to Disney World or whatever and whatnot, right? But so before you start doing some of that craziness, you need to make sure you position your money where it needs to go first, okay? And the goal is to stay positioned for years to come, all right? So that's the first thing to do. Make sure your foundation is set. Second step, you want to decide what asset you want to buy. What you got experience in? What's something that you use yourself? That's another way to go, right? I like real estate because everybody need a home, okay? I like self-storage facilities because everybody got to have a place for their place to stay. When they're in transitioning, I was in the military, so every time we transition to a different location, sometimes our possessions went into storage. So if you own a storage company, you could benefit off of that, right? So a lot of people are looking for self-storages. And in every single walk of life, right? No matter what bracket you in when it comes to your finances, we all need storages. So that's why I like using that. Me personally, why I like to use that as well. I also like to invest in stocks and crypto, and just because I'm seeing the digital wave of things, right? I'm seeing how things are kind of moving when it comes to the financial burden. So I like to have a good diversity in my portfolio, whether it's hard assets or it's digital assets. All right. So make sure you guys kind of get more understanding of it, right? Find someone like myself who is diverse in those different type of strategies and get acquainted with it, right? Invest into a mentor to fast track your information, fast track your knowledge on these things, right? So you actually know what you're going to invest in. All right, so there's things, the main things that haven't gone down in the history of America when it comes to their GDP is the real estate's always been on the rise, GDP, so stocks has always been on the rise, right? So those are two areas that you want to, you know what I'm saying, you know we have a good history of the market that's always going to increase, all right? So take that into account, all right? So the next thing you want to do, right, when you decide your asset, like I just told you guys, kind of get acquainted with what asset you want to invest in. So make sure you actually do your research, actually learn from somebody, right? Then don't just get into analysis paralysis. Actually dive into it. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna lose money. That's okay, because you have to, you know. So you gotta make those mistakes now so that you can learn from it, and then find you a strategy that's actually earning you profit, and then go extra hard on that profit. Like once you got something that's generating you some income, don't start diversifying your bucket really quick. No, dive more into that. Fill that bucket up in that one asset that is making you money. Let it burst, and now you start diving into different other assets. Okay, because you know what I'm saying. You try to go into what I think was Bruce Lee said. He said, "I don't fear the man who has 10,000 kicks. I fear the man who practiced one kick 10,000 times." Right? Focus is everything. So make sure you guys are putting that into account. All right, so your assets should either produce income, grow in value, or both. I prefer cash flow, but growing value as far as equity is another great thing as well. All right, that could be real estate, rental property, small business, equipment for your business, cash flow investments, property that you renovate and rent out, right, using the BRRRR method. We teach that here with Simple Exit Investing, because we'll make sure that people are, well, that's what our background is doing. All right, so if that's what's making us money, then we'll make sure our clients know how to do as well. We're not going to just get you funding here. Like, we're going to help your credits get smoothed out. We're going to make sure you get access to the capital so you can actually invest into things. Now you got to get the money first before you can try to get the asset. But we're going to help make sure, before you leave our spirit influence, I guess you could say, we're going to make sure you have a good at least 2 or 3 exit strategies that you could dive into on top of what you currently have, right? Most people tell you, most funny guys out there, they kind of help you get the capital, but don't show you what to do with the money. And it's all about the exit strategy. It's all about how you're going to flip it, because you got to pay that money back, right? So want to hit on that a little bit there. So main thing, the question is, what does money pay me back? If the answer is no, if it's a lifestyle purchase, I'm just trying to level up myself. I'm trying to, get a subscription, right? Maybe Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Buying clothes, it's like, once the money leave your pocket, if nothing's coming back, no type of return, that's a liability. You don't want to put none of that in there, okay? That's for lifestyle stuff, and that's after you get your money growing. Then you dive into lifestyle afterwards. Say, what was saying, if you stay small enough, long enough, you'll get big enough soon enough, okay? So just be patient with your growth. Third thing you want to do, you want to run your numbers, okay? You want to make sure that you got to know your math. The math got to be mathing before you pull the trigger, okay? Do the research, right? Know each layer of the investment, at least understanding it, okay? But then you got to pull that trigger, right? Because if you just think about it constantly, you're never making an action and you're never going to move anywhere. So you're going to have to move, but make sure when you're moving, you at least invest enough time to understand what's supposed to happen in the move. Because I'll be the first to tell you that no matter how times I do a real estate deal or I do a investment deal strategy, things don't, what you thought in your head is if that's a miracle. You know what I mean? It don't always happen the way you thought of it. Okay, there's always some bumps in the road. Success is like that. Success is up, down. It's like Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Up 65,000, down to 60 grand, up 100 band, down. It's gonna be like that. That's how success is, right? It bounces up and down. So you just gotta learn from the ways of it and then move strategically. All right. So you want to run the numbers. You want to don't follow with the idea, follow with the math. All right, not just the concept, but what's actually performing. Okay. So for real estate, you want to look at your purchase price. You want to look at your down payment. You want to look at repairs. You want to look at your monthly rent. You want to look at your taxes, insurance. Maintenance for upkeep, right? You want to have some money coming in on the side for upkeep. Vacancy rate, right? Property management, typically 10%. If they charge you more than 10%, they smoking. I've never paid more than 10% for property management. There's plenty out there. You can find some more, right? And then the cash flow, right? You got to have cash flow. If you're not cash flowing at least $500 from a property, it's not worth the buy. All right, do that numbers up front, okay? If the profit brings $2,000 but costs you $1,950, it's not worth it. Okay, that $50 worth of profit. No. Okay, don't look for the equity. Oh, I'm only getting like $50 profit, but it's gonna be worth. You don't know what it's gonna be worth. Something's only worth what someone else is willing to pay for it. Think about that for a second, right? My house is only worth 100 grand if somebody's willing to pay 100 grand for that house. If they don't want to pay 100 grand for that house, then your house not worth that. It ain't worth nothing until you get a customer who's going to take out a loan and purchase that. Okay, so take that into consideration whenever you're trying to buy an asset. Know what it's going to look like on the back end, right? Because that was a big mistake I made. I over renovated one place. I thought, okay, man, and this is earlier, several years back now, about a decade back now. But I bought a property and I put like maybe I put like 70 grand into it. 70 grand, 70 grand to the purchase, and then another 50 grand in the renovation. I don't think it's about to be worth like three. I mean, the house looks spotless. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's about to be. Who's definitely about to be worth about 300 grand? You know what I'm saying? But that's before I got real versed in the comparisons and comps and what houses actually sold for. It looked the best out of everything around it because of all the money I put into it. But I over renovated. I put way too much money into it. I didn't even break even on that deal. Right? I put over probably like 170,000 into it, and the house at the end of the day was only worth 100 grand, 120 grand when I was done with it. So I lost money. Okay, so you have to understand those things, that before you go into a project, you know what I'm saying, the math gotta be mathed. You gotta know what it's gonna be worth when it's done, not based off what you feel it's worth. but the actual math and what things is actually what is actually running for in that area. Okay, so that's just it's a little tidbit I want to throw in there as well. Fourth thing I want to talk about is look for a good return on investment, good ROI. So don't be fooled. A good ROI is 12% for the year. If you got assets making you 12% for the year, that's about average the stock market and these other investments are doing you. Real estate is only going up by maybe 4% over a year if we're talking about the equity, right? Not cash flow, equity, like the value of it. And that's teetering, depending on what area you at. Okay, so take that in mind. 12% for the year is a good return. But you're not finding that in banks. Even the high yield savings accounts are maybe giving you 5% for the year, right? So if you find an asset that can get you a 12% return, you're doing good over the year. So anything above that, you know what I'm saying, that's amazing. Okay, so make sure you get a good ROI, a good return for your investment, right? Here's a simple way to think about it. If you put $50,000 into a deal, how much money is it going to make you year over year? Okay, a good asset should clear on the upside. So monthly cash flow, equity growth, appreciation and the potential, right? Tax advantages is a big thing. That's why we love real estate, for tax advantages and long-term demand, right? It's people going to want to rent for you constantly over the years. It's kind of come, right? You get in the t-shirt business and your t-shirt says the same thing as all these other promoters are doing. You know, you're not going to make a lot of money from it because there's so many other businesses out there that are doing what you're doing, right? You got to have a niche that a lot of people, the demand is high for it, okay? Don't just ask, can I buy this because it's cheap and it's affordable? No, is there money inside that purchase, right? Is there a big demand for the supplies that I'm about to purchase, okay? Next, fifth step is don't put everything into one move. Don't put all your eggs into one basket, because that could be a no-no, all right? I'm not saying diversify like crazy. We want to find that one thing, but you diversify enough until you find something that works, and then you flood that one thing, okay? Just take it in context, okay? You don't want to put all your eggs into too many into one move, but if that move is making you profit, consistent profit, yeah, you want to pour a lot more energy and effort into it, okay? So I just want to make sure you put that stamp on it. But this is where a lot of people mess up. They get one big check, and then they put all of that idea into that one idea. And wisdom is make sure that you keep reserves. Make sure you good for your repairs. You got emergencies, and you ready for when the asset doesn't perform all the time. So, for example, you got a rental property, and it's breaking you like $2,000 a month. It's hitting profit. Ooh, this good. And then you banking on that $2,000 every single month, and then that tenant lose their job, and then they can't pay for the next 3 months or something like that. Right? One, you should be looking to evicting them, depending on how long they've been there, right? How the rapport you got with that tenant. I have actually, I've given my tenants when they renewed, I've given them a month of free rent, so that just because I appreciate it for the last, the full 12 months before that, they ain't missed a payment, So we rocking really good. Some people need that to get a little extra stimulated, right? And they tend to stay with you a lot longer when you do it that way. Whereas, if it was a brand new tenant, and it's you made the first month rent, but then the second month you miss, right? And you can't make it for the whole month. You think I'm about to let you re-up on the third month? Nah, pimpin', you can't get caught up. Then that eviction notice coming out. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is because it's business. And now food coming out of my family mouth if you know what I'm saying, if you don't pay your end of the thing. So I'm supplying the resources, but I'm not getting the benefit of the resources. So you gotta take all that into consideration, right? Sometimes things don't pan out. So you gotta have money in reserves so that you can cover those months. Cause it will happen. Happens to every entrepreneur, right? So you wanna make sure you look into take that into consideration. So make sure you always cover your bases when you're doing business. And that's in any venture that you're doing. All right, the last step I want to talk about is using your money. You want to leverage your money the smart way, okay? Sometimes you don't need to use all your cash. You use your credit. Leverage it, right? I personally love to use credit for everything, right? Why? Because it's reward points, okay? There's reward points that go on top of that. And if you're paying it back up before the end of the month, you're not getting hit with any type of interest. But as long as you're investing that credit, that leverage it into something that's going to bring you more cash flow than what your monthly payment is, including the interest, then it's a win. You just got to know how to, money, you got to make money when your money's moving. You can't make money when it's just staying still. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Think of it like mosquito water. You know what I'm saying? If it just stands still, you get mosquitoes, it's a bad day. But when it's moving, you know what I'm saying, now it's kind of clean. It's a better stream. I don't know if it's a great analogy, but I want to put something in there anyway. All right. Yeah, guys. And then, of course, build your income. You want not just ownership. You want to own things as well, but you want to also, you want to own things. That's the most important thing. But you want to also make sure that whatever you're owning is actually building up your cash flow. It's building up your nest egg. Okay. So you want your asset to produce cash flow. You want it to generate profit. You want your equipment to increase in value because it's increasing your revenue. So if you're buying equipment, make sure that it's actually increasing your revenue that you're generating. And you got an exit strategy off of anything that you purchase. All right. So exit strategy for real estate, buying a house, is to actually obviously selling the property. Or sometimes people don't want to buy in the area. Well, then your tenant who's renting from you, they really like it. They've been renting from you for a while. Maybe you can do what's called owner finance. And now you the bank and letting them pay you consistently like they've been doing for the purchase of the property completely. And then you can offload it that way as well. All right, guys. So hope that was informative and give you guys some good value. And we'll talk to you soon. Make sure that you hit that like button. You subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Let us know if there's any type of topics you want us to hit up on in the comments.